What's up, agents, and welcome back to another Division video where we're going to go over everything that Leo and Yannick covered in today's live stream. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. Let's get straight into it. So we started off with the trailer, which actually looked really cool, probably one of the best trailers we've had in a long time, but obviously highlighting that we are going to get the True Sons companion. Yeah, really cool. While this is playing in the background, I'm going to do a very quick mention for some news with the content creator arm patch codes. I have mentioned this in a previous video, but I'm going to have a code that is unlimited use available. So if you missed out on getting a DJTICKLE arm patch code and you want one, good news, you'll be able to get one. Again, thank you so much, agents, for all the love and support to the channel. If it wasn't for you guys that did like my content and publicize it and comment and do all that really cool stuff, they would never have selected me to be part of this program. So thank you very, very much. Nothing But Skills and Raw Gold are also getting the same treatment, so you'll be able to get them arm patches if you missed out on it as well. And then we're going to get 3 new content creators a week tomorrow. The Gaming Brigade, Mr. Greybeard himself, GC Rock, and Splinter Shield. If you can find him, he's probably going to be in the Dark Zone, or he's going to be in Survival, that's for sure. Starting with Division 1 next week. They talked about that a little bit, but we'll get onto that in a little bit. But as you can see, Mutiny starts tomorrow, available the 2nd of December. So first off, they started talking about the story and where it's up to right now, where basically the Division crashed the party and it all went wrong in Tidal Basin. But then they moved on to talk about the companions and basically that they have made a huge amount of improvements to how they respond, you know, how they are not going to get you into a lot of trouble, basically, because it was very, very clunky to use when we used it in the PTS, and that was kind of the feedback that we had. What was really interesting, though, at this moment is that they said this is the first time that they're going to try it out. Not the last time by the sounds of it. It's the first iteration of this model with the companions, so it does sound like we're going to get companions back after this season. Maybe not straight away, but maybe not in this format, but it does sound like this won't be the last time that we'll have a companion in the game moving forward. And then Yannick made a really good point here when it comes down to the feedback, is that everybody kind of liked the idea of having a companion, but the execution just didn't quite hit the mark when they kind of got there with the PTS. And therefore they had to go back to the drawing board. Well, not to the drawing board, but they had to go back and make some serious improvements to how the companion works. And when we're talking about improvements, we're talking about that reaction speed, them not being silly, them not doing crazy kind of things. And, you know, it was great that they took that feedback on board, and I'm really looking forward to what it is they've actually produced now moving forward. But my key standout point is that he did say they're faster to react. They're a bit cleverer. They're a bit snappier to, you know, make a judgment call, and that they're a bit more potent. So it does sound like they just turned the formula up and corrected some of them mistakes that it currently had in. Next, they talked about the modifiers. You can pause it if you want to see this for a little bit longer on the screen. But we know about this. It's the 3 different types of companion: the assault, the engineer, and the medic. As you can see there are the modifiers. So what we'll do is actually we'll pause that, we'll go back. Now, I'm not sure if this is the correct build version that we're actually going to get tomorrow. Yannick did mention at one point when it was shown on the screen, it was an old value, so we're not going to spend too much time looking at this. But if you're going to pause it, you can see all the command link modifiers. In fact, this is the old version, because I know collateral kill at the bottom is now 15 CL, and that only shows 12. So we'll come back to that when the game actually goes live tomorrow, and we'll move on from it at the moment. But just during this portion, as you can see, they were just kind of showing that you can target the enemy. There you go. You can see that he used the rocket launcher fairly quickly. Definitely in comparison, he hit for 2.6 million. And then it provides us with a buff of damage to target out of cover as well now. I don't know if that's shown in that video, but that's what the patch note says. One thing to note that we did see in the PTS, they talked about that in fact you can upgrade them as well. Again, we're not going to look too much at the values, but they talked about that you can upgrade them and make them stronger. They then flicked through the other passive modifiers. Again, we're not going to spend any time on this because we don't know if they've changed. The passive modifiers have had a buff according to the patch notes. So I'm definitely looking forward to the more offensive style ones that we've got. Next, they talked about the gear, which I'll cover in more detail in my patch notes video. But we talked about unit alloys and the fact that it had a slight reduction in damage. But then everything else was hooray, it's all had a buff from the PTS. And obviously we all know we can't take the PTS numbers as gospel. We just sometimes hope that the things we get stay the way they are. But yeah, everything's had a tinkering with since the version of the PTS that we played. Unit alloys lost the 3% on the rate of fire, but then everything else got a buff. You can see the concentrated company set right there. Then they just kind of talked about, you know, the buffs, and I'll just flick through this very quickly so you can see. But yeah, Yannick was just kind of reading out from the patch notes that we didn't have at this point, going through the guns that were available, the Throff, the Lockdown, the 2 named guns. Then we got the Beacon that's had a critical hit damage buff as well as a buff in all of the other stats as well. So I'm pretty much looking forward to that. And the reason they buffed the Beacon was exactly what we thought. You know, giving up a chest piece, a high-end chest piece, is a lot to give up. So an exotic in that slot definitely does have to be special. And I'm definitely interested to see where that kind of lines up. Then they talked about the Bittersweet, which is generally going to be for healing, but definitely interested to see where that goes. And if it will end up being a healer best in slot gun, I'm not sure. Then we got this really cool key art. I really do like that with the true sun in the background. Then they talked about the Sheriff. No changes as of now with the Sheriff. I was a little bit surprised. I was really kind of hoping that they would do something with the reload speed on this. The single reload, the Super 90 has never been something I've been a massive fan of, and I really want this to feel special. But we have got a few weeks before that Master Manhunt comes out, so there is always time that might get a change. Who knows? They then showed us the season pass, but they flipped through it so fast we only see the first and the last page. But just pausing it here, I do like this, the sheeted kind of look. That looks pretty good. All the way down at 95, and it's going to be on the premium pass. And I do like this kind of diamond shaped badge as well. Not that I would take off my DJTICKLE badge, but yeah, they I guess they purposely don't want us to see what's in the pass. But there is this coat here, which if I just pause it for a second, I guess it belongs to this very cool looking picture that we got in the fan kit. Yeah, it just looks really cool. So I'm guessing that belongs to this, a proper true looking sniper-esque costume, and it's going to be in parts as well, which I know people will like, not a uniform. So yeah, that was pretty good. And as usual, we got it in the patch notes. You get the usual dyes, weapon skins, and things like that. There'll be a premium version, as you can already see on the screen, that gets you a few extra cosmetics and things like that. There's also going to be a bundle that you can buy that gets you some premium credits and skin as well. I don't know if they showed that, but I did show that in my video for the patch notes. Twitch drops are starting tomorrow, and I will have Twitch drops. I will be live a little bit later tomorrow. The season will have been out a little while by the time I am live, but we'll be checking out all of the new stuff and obviously doing some of the maths. But we've got the universal weapon skin with the Black Tusk logo. I really do like this one, but I'm a big fan of this keyboard here. It's a shame it's not got any LEDs on it. I would have loved a few LEDs. Maybe it does light up. It would have been nice to see if it lights up, you know, in between the keys. But either way, yeah, I think it's really cool. Let's move on to what they talked about next. So next up, it was the content creator collab. This time around, it's going to be Splinter Shield, GC Rock, and the Gaming Brigade. Big shout out to them. If you want to see the actual artwork for, we had GC's and the Gaming Brigade's artwork. They've already published them in various videos and blog posts. I did a video on that, so go and check that out, and I'll link it down below. Excited to see what Splinter has got in store for us. Then it's like they read my mind. I went back to Survival just a few weeks ago, but Survive Fest is coming. It starts a week tomorrow. Leo is going to be live with Magnus to talk about Survivors a little bit, I guess, at the same time, but they're going to be playing Survival, so I can't wait to see that. Leo's not played it yet. That was the impression that I got. I think he's going to get some training in this week. But then they talked about some rewards that you're going to be able to get while Survive Fest is on. If you log in and play, everyone's going to be able to get an arm patch, but they're also going to do some limited cosmetics for, I think they said 20 people. So I don't know if it's going to be random or not, if it's going to be like the person that survives the most, or I don't really know. But 20 people will get a limited set of cosmetics, which, yeah, that is awesome. So I'm definitely going to be logging in and playing Survival just so I get a chance to get that. 20 people is not a lot though. Just to confirm that, it's a golden version of the arm patch. So if you extract during Survive Fest, you get a chance to get it. There's also going to be a woodsman outfit that I assume is going to be available to purchase on the store, but you'll also get that for free if you win, if you're one of these 20 people. And then there was a very small tease about the Christmas event that is coming. Basically just saying that, you know, Halloween was very successful, so Christmas is coming. And that was it. So we'll leave it there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play out the dev diary. The version that they played had major sound issues, so I'm going to dig it out on YouTube. I'll play it at the end of this, but don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you tomorrow for lots of new content with the Mutiny season. Thanks for everything, agents. Goodbye. No, I'm not, because I can't find it. So that's going to be it for the video. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.